In this tutorial, I'm breaking down accessibility into the essential concepts you need to know to make your content ADA compliant. After seeing numerous accessibility errors across different types of documents, these are the most common mistakes. If you follow these steps, you are likely to receive high accessibility scores. Let's start with the fundamentals for any document. The font should be Arial because it's easy to read. The body text font size should be 12 point. Of course, titles and headings may be bigger. There should always be a strong contrast between the background and text so it's easy to read. White background with black text has the strongest contrast. White background and dark blue text is also easy to see. Use different color text sparingly because often it can be hard to read. A great way to start is to use Blackboard Ally. When you upload a document to Blackboard, a gauge is automatically generated to give you a visual of how compliant it is. This may take a few moments to generate and you may need to refresh your screen. You'll get a gauge of either red, orange, or green. Green equals compliance, and that is our goal for all documents. Click on the gauge to view what needs to be fixed and why. A preview is generated. Click on All Issues to view all that needs to be fixed. To correct your document, you'll need to make changes in the software you created it in, such as Word. For Google Docs or Slides where you link in your document, download the file as Word or PowerPoint and upload to Blackboard to get a gauge reading. Ally cannot read links, but please continue to use them for students if that's how you like to share documents to your classes. Insufficient headings are the most common error with documents. Headings are important for accessibility purposes because they break up blocks of text to guide students through the document. This is especially useful for screen readers. I'm going to open this document in Word to add correct headings. Creating a heading is more than making text bold. You want to use the built-in heading styles in Microsoft Word and Google Docs. Heading styles add formal structure to the document that can be recognized by assistive technology. Heading styles are ranked by importance. Heading 1 represents the most important ideas on the document and is the most common style to use. Heading 2 represents subsections. And of course, the title of your document can go in the title style. But by far, Heading 1 is the most important style. All pages should have a Heading 1 on it, even for pages with a short amount of text. So I want to start using these styles at the top. So let me come up to the title, and I'm just going to click on that title style. You have discretion as to what size you want. It's using the style itself that's really important. What we really want to focus on are these headings. So we want to use this Heading 1 style. Now notice when I click on Heading 1, it puts the font in blue and it's a different font itself. I want to use Arial. So I want to modify this style. So I'm going to right click on the style itself on Heading 1 and click Modify. I'm going to change the font to Arial. I'm going to keep it at 12. I'm going to put it in bold, and I'm going to change the color to automatic. Now this part is very important. I want to click on this New Documents based on this template, so I only have to make this change this one time. And from here on out, I can just click on Heading 1 and it will keep these settings. Click OK, and now it's changed. Now I'm going to come down here to this introductory paragraph and do the same thing. You want to do the same thing in Google Docs. The styles are found next to the font. If you click on Normal Text on the arrow beside Normal Text, you'll see all the same styles that you saw in Word. So let's start from the top. I'm going to highlight the title and select the title style. For my first header, I'm going to click on Heading 1, but notice it does the same thing. It puts it in blue and in a different font. So I want to change that. So I'm going to highlight the text again, change it to the styles that I want. To keep from repeating this every time, I'm going to come back to Heading 1, hover over it, and then click Update Heading 1 to match. I don't have to change that again from here on out in this document. A common accessibility issue is missing alternative text to an image. In Ally, the error message will say the images are missing descriptions, and this is referring to alt text. Alt text is read by screen readers in place of images, so a meaningful description is necessary. Every image needs to have an alt text. A good question to ask yourself when creating alt text descriptions is, what do I need to write for the student to understand the context and meaning of the picture without seeing the picture? You may also want to ask yourself if a picture is necessary and does it add value to your content. This image is certainly necessary to this presentation. To add the alt text, I need to open it in PowerPoint. Right-click on the image and select Format Picture. In the sidebar that opens, click on the four arrows, that is Size and Properties. There at the bottom you'll see alt text. Click on the arrow beside of it, and you'll put the actual alt text description in the description box, not the title. And once you have it there, it's there. There's no save, there's no submit button. It just saves it there. Note, there may be a slightly different process depending on your version of PowerPoint for adding alt text descriptions, but generally you right-click on the picture and select Format Picture, or you may see alt text itself. This is the same process you would use in Microsoft Word. In Google Docs or Google Slides, adding alt text is easy. Right-click on the image and select alt text. Then add the text to the description box. Click OK, and your alt text is saved. Repeat this for every image in your presentations or documents. Hyperlinks are active links that, when clicked, take the user to a web page. Accessible hyperlinks use a phrase to convey where the link is going and what happens when they click on that link. Let's look at this example where the actual web address is listed. Instead, I want to use a phrase to tell the user where the link is taking them. So I'm going to highlight the CFC catalog and student handbook. Again, because it conveys where the user is going when they click on this link. I'm in Word, so if you click on the Insert tab, you'll see the hyperlink feature. You can also right-click on your highlighted phrase, and you'll see hyperlink. In the address box, you're going to paste in the web address. I've copied mine earlier. Click OK, and it turns that phrase into a hyperlink. Next, I want to tell the user what happens when they click on this link. So I'm going to type in opens in new window. They're going to be taken away from this document. And it's important to use a phrase and a directive like opens in new window for assistive technology where the user might not be viewing the document. For the web address, for the actual web address, I can leave this in, but it's not required. This is how you create an accessible hyperlink. In PowerPoint and Google Slides, the main points are slide format, unique slide title, and text. When you are building your presentation, choose the built-in slide formats. In PowerPoint, click on New Slide and choose one of these that are already formatted, like Title Slide, Title and Content, To Content, one of these that's already formatted. You do not want to choose blank format. You want to have that structure already built in. If you have a presentation already built and you want to see what kind of slide format you have, you can click on the slide and click on Layout, and the format that you have will be selected. Like with headings and documents, the pre-formatted slides create a recognizable structure for assistive technology. Just because you may have big text at the top of a slide doesn't mean a screen reader can recognize that as a title. Next, each slide should have a unique slide title. On this one is Message Content. However, sometimes you have a subject that carries over multiple slides. If that happens, you want to number the slides. So in this instance, I have message content across 2 slides. So to create a unique title, I'm going to add to the title 1 of 2 to let the user know that this subject carries over to the next slide. I'm using brackets, but you could use parentheses as well. Next, when you choose a design theme, the font is usually not Arial. So that is the case with this theme. I can see that the default font is Garamond. So I want to change that to Arial because I want all my documents to have Arial font. So to do that globally, so I don't have to highlight all the text in this presentation, I'm going to go up to my Design tab, and I'm going to come over here to the right to the Variants section and click on this very bottom down arrow. Go to Fonts and choose Arial. And that's going to change it globally. Also in your presentations, remember that every image needs an alt text, and you would do that the same way that we covered earlier in this tutorial. And all of these same features are in Google Slides. Tables can be tricky when it comes to accessibility. They can be difficult for assistive technology to interpret and follow. First, I would evaluate if you need to put the information in a table. If you do, here are the most common steps to take for compliance. Use headers to label columns. Accessible tables need a designated header row. To designate headers in Microsoft Word, place cursor in top row. In the toolbar, find the Table Tools section and click on Layout. Then click on Repeat Header Rows. You need to do this for every table because it designates the header row. Note: merged, nested, and split cells change the reading order of table content. Screen readers read from top to bottom and left to right. You also want to add an alternative text description to the table. Click on the table, then in the upper left corner of the table, click on the 4 arrows to select the table, then right-click on the selected table and choose Table Properties. Next, click on the Alt Text tab and write a description of the table. Be sure to put it in the description box. Then click OK. There are more features to make tables accessible, but these are the most common ones. Some final notes on accessibility for instructional content. Any video you use needs to be correctly closed captioned. If you use YouTube videos, watch the video with the captioning on to make sure it is correct. The auto-generated captions often have mistakes and need to be checked. Look for another video if the captioning is not accurate. A transcript should be posted for any audio used, such as a podcast. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Please contact Instructional Technology or Online Learning for questions or additional help.